There are two tracks Thomas could take. He could take the windy track along the cliffs, or he could take the still, calm track through the valley. Thomas knows the sailboat could tip over in a high wind. Which track do you think he should take? Yes, the still, calm track through the valley is much safer from moving the sailboat. Thomas is taking care. Thomas knows being a really useful engine is being a really careful engine. Thomas and the new engine. The trains on the island of Sodor keep very busy. There are always lots of jobs to do. One morning, Sir Topham Hatt came to Tidmouth Sheds. "A new engine has arrived on the island," he announced. "His name is Neville. You must all make him feel welcome. A happy engine is a useful engine." Later, Thomas was stopped at a signal. The signalman called down to Thomas. "The bridge ahead is unsafe. Thomas, you ought to collect a piece of ironwork so the bridge can be repaired." "Yes, sir," huffed Thomas. At the yards, Harry and Bert were with Neville, the new engine. Neville was a steamy, but he had a square body like a diesel. Neville was backing up towards some trucks. "Nearly there," said Harry cheekily. "Nearly there," said Bert naughtily. Then there was trouble. "Watch where you're going, clumsy wheels," Harry and Bert laughed. Neville looked sad. "It's not our fault if you're a silly steamy," oiled Bert, and they laughed even harder. Thomas arrived at the yards. He could see Harry and Bert laughing with Neville. That must be the new engine, he thought. He must be friends with the Diesels. Thomas arrived at Knapford Station. "Have you seen the new engine yet?" asked James. "Yes," said Thomas, "but we'd better be careful. I saw him at the yards with Harry and Bert. They were laughing together." James was shocked. A steamy, friendly with Diesels? As Thomas left, Edward pulled in. "Have you heard about the new engine?" snorted James. And he started to tell Edward all about Neville. Later, Edward was taking on water. He was talking to Percy. "That new Stevie Neville is best friends with the Diesels," Edward puffed. "He doesn't want to be with Stevies at all." "How do you know?" peeped Percy. "James told me and Thomas told him," whistled Edward. Later, Percy met Emily at a red signal. "Don't go near Neville, the new engine," he told her. "The Diesels have told him to biff into Steamies. Edward told me. James told Edward, and they heard all about it from Thomas." When Thomas arrived at Abbey Station, Sir Topham Hatt was there. "Thomas, you must warn all engines not to cross the bridge until it's repaired," he boomed. Thomas felt proud. It was a very useful job. Just then he heard a whistle. Someone was coming. Thomas had to warn them. It was Neville, pulling Annie and Clarabelle. Thomas was shocked.